Welcome to the directions video for your vocabulary additional focuses. So this video will go over the steps of preparation that you should take in order to be ready to pass the assessment upon your first try. So the very first thing you need to do is watch this directions video. So excellent job. You've already started your first step. You can feel very proud of yourself. Now, once you finish this video, you'll want to move on to the second step, which is to complete the diagnostic assessment. So the purpose of the diagnostic assessment is essentially to help you see what the assessment itself is asking for. So you'll notice that in the assessment, you'll be asked to take a look at a definition, such as this one, to distinguish one thing from another, and to identify which word from your vocabulary list matches this definition. And you'll need to enter your answer, and the correct answer will need to be spelled correctly and also properly match the definition. Now, on the assessment itself, you will not have a word bank, and I acknowledge that without a word bank, this could be quite difficult. Each assessment is assessing you on 60 to 80 different vocabulary words that you're going to need to commit to memory, and that's no easy task. But I want you to consider two things when approaching this task that we acknowledge is difficult. So the first thing is that these focuses are additional focuses. So additional focuses are required for an A grade. And since this is an AP class, to get an A grade, you're going to need to prove that you're capable of doing difficult things. So this assessment properly matches the level at which you're trying to work towards, which is an A grade. The second thing I want for you to consider is the ultimate purpose of this assessment. This assessment is not simply just a vocabulary quiz in which you match words to their definitions. The purpose of this quiz is word recall. So when you have word recall, you're not using a word bank. You do not have access to that, because when you're writing an essay, especially an in-class essay, you don't get a word bank. What you're using is word recall, where you're using vocabulary words that you have committed to memory and can pull up at any moment that you need. Now, we can pull out words such as tree, green, deep, feet, need, and speed quite easily from our brain because we've used those words for a very long time. However, using more difficult words like the ones that you'll encounter for this assessment are not as easy to recall. So the ultimate purpose of this assessment is to help you commit those more complex words to memory so that you can use them naturally in your essays. Now, once you complete the diagnostic assessment, remembering these two very important aspects to the assessment, you'll then move to watching the video for the lessons and record words and definitions in your notes. Now, this is ultimately an optional task. You do not have to write down the definitions in your notes unless if that's a thing that would actually help you do well on this assessment. However, there will be videos, and in these videos, it will go over the definition and the matching word. Additionally, the videos will provide a sample sentence, which is probably the most helpful aspect of the video, which will show how the word works in a sentence itself. Knowing a definition of a word is helpful. What's even more helpful is knowing how to actually use the word in your own writing. Now, the next step of preparation is to review the words using the practice slides that are also provided in the assessment preparatory materials. Again, this is optional. You should only use these slides if it's a way that would actually help you pass this assessment. But what the slides do is they will provide fill-in-the-blank sentences, and with those sentences you can practice if you're actually able to recall the words from memory. I think this will be a very helpful tool for a lot of us, so I would definitely check it out. So the last step of preparation is to create your own sentences using the words. Now, this creative process of creating your own sentences is a really great way to commit things to memory because you're going through more steps of thought processes, and therefore those steps help us remember things. Now, you'll notice that steps 3 through 5 are all optional. However, you'll need to complete at least one form of preparation before you can take the assessment. So you'll need to have done at least one of these things before you can take the assessment, because really you have to do one of these things in order to pass the assessment. Now, if you do not pass the assessment upon your first try, please know that an additional form of preparation for each attempt will be necessary. So perhaps for your first attempt, you just review the words using the practice slides, because you think, well, that's all I need to do. but you do not pass the assessment upon the first try. Well, the next thing you might need to do is watch the videos for the lessons and record notes on those words. And then you can take the assessment again by showing that preparation. Now, if you still don't pass the assessment after that, you'll need to move on to the third form of preparation, which is to create your own sentences. Hopefully, after completing each form of preparation, you'll be ready to dominate your assessment. But if at that point you're still struggling with the vocabulary assessments, that's a very good time to attend a workshop or to see me during office hours to receive some help in how to better prepare for these assessments. Alright, so that's your directions video. Now it's time to go study so that you can pass this additional focus. Good luck!